Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another episode. We are here, bright sunlight. Where else can you be at? Next to us, we have this amazing individual. Would you like to introduce yourself?
All right. My name is Nathan Gerard. I'm an independent videographer based in Los Angeles, California.
Videographer. Most of you guys that are interested in videographer, you can tell by my computer, I'm not the best. So we invited Nathan over to ask a couple questions. So the first question is, as a videographer, what is your title, or what would someone ask you, what do you do for a living? How do you answer that question?
Well, the title would be videographer. Within that, it could be different roles. It could be director, it could be cinematographer, producer. But what I do primarily is just meet people's needs through video, whether it be a company or a personal event like a wedding or a birthday party, anything of that nature. So just depending on who's asking, the answer would change on what do I do. Like, for example, for a business asking, what do I do? Or my job would be to make videos that convert viewers into customers. You know, it's not the same as being a filmmaker where you're making a short film to entertain or making a film to show off your skills. You're making a film as a videographer. Your primary goal is to make a film to meet a need rather than as just an expression.
Okay, so it sounds like that you're more of a freelance filmmaker. Is that correct?
Yeah, for sure. And I typically, like with videographers, that's pretty much how it is. Usually the term videographer is used for someone that is freelance, is more of like a one-man band, and takes on shoots that kind of can be done within that range without a huge crew and things of that nature.
Got it. So you mentioned a one-man band. How does it feel being able to almost be your own boss, but at the same time you have all that workload?
Being your own boss is definitely, it's good and it's terrifying at the same time. It's good because you have all the freedom in the world. You can take whatever days off you want to take or whatever the case is. But the terrifying part is you only eat what you hunt. You only eat what you kill. So if you're not getting clients, then that's when the fear can set in and stuff like that. So definitely I'm with them like my first year of being independent and being my own boss, like full time. And I definitely learned a lot. It wasn't as easy as I thought it was. It wasn't as simple as I thought it was. But by the grace of God, I've been able to maintain and slowly, but starting to build to go from being just a videographer to being like a full-time production company, a full-time business.
Full-time business, that's awesome. And you're right about that. As self-employed, being your own boss, what you basically, like how someone use your analogy, what you kill is what you eat. If you don't make anything, you don't eat.
Yeah.
What inspired you to take this pathway, knowing that there's a lot, it's almost like a lot, it's like a high risk, high reward. So what inspired you to be where you're at?
Well, when it comes to like the independent route, like being an independent filmmaker, it's just a lot of the people that I looked up to growing up, famous or not, they were people that championed being like your own boss, being an entrepreneur. And also too, on the other end, seeing, close family, people around me that get stuck in a minimum wage job into their 40s, 50s. I knew I didn't want that for myself. So that's what initially inspired me to do it. But like I said, I was a lot more naive at the time before I started than where I'm at now. But I don't regret it. But it definitely has its trials and obstacles that come along with it.
Definitely trials and tribulations. Shout out to that one episode we had a while back. We'll put that up there. But going back to this, what would you say, or some skill? Well, you mentioned that you were a little naive at that time. What would you say if someone wants to go into your field, what would be something that they need to look out for? What skills would they need to have or would need to learn?
You need to not look at yourself as a service for hire, but you need to look at yourself as a business. And so that's the mistake I made. I thought I could just be a service for hire consistently enough, and then I would just have enough clients, every single month. But that's not really how this field works. there's like marketing agencies that work with these big companies that hire the filmmakers that you have to have the connections for. The small mom and pop shops, those aren't really the ones that are going to be consistently paying for video and stuff like that, because they don't see the same return in their investment that, you know, a company that has a marketing department will. And so I would definitely say the one thing you need to do is don't look at yourself as a service for hire, but look at yourself as a business, and also find connections, not only just to get jobs, but find connections as far as crew goes. Because what I'm learning now, because I'm still in the beginning stages, I feel, but the point I'm at now is when I'm finally starting to hire other people to come along shoots with me. And that's how you grow, and that's how you begin, when you start outsourcing the work and you start elevating from a one-man band to like a full-time production crew. But yeah, I would definitely say that's a skill set. And then with videography, it's also too, you're not making it for self-expression, for example. So you need to be intent. You need to learn how to make stuff. You need to study what works, what converts someone into a client. Just the same way that you studied how to make a film. The same way you studied, like, you know, how to compose shots, how to edit, how to color grade. You have to study how to convert a viewer into a customer, because at the end of the day, that's what people are going to hire you for, as a videographer. So it's a little bit different as a filmmaker, but those would be the skill sets I would say that you need.
Sounds like there's tons of business behind it. And you mentioned something about working for a mom, doing a video, I'm not sure of the correct term, for a mom and pop store. Granted, yes, they're getting paid, though. Is it going to be long term than if you do it with a business that there's more things you can work with?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like that was part of my naive thinking at the time. I thought I could just find enough mom and pop shops and just do work every single month. And even if it's not for the same ones, I just thought it's a numbers game. You just hit up enough people, but you could do that. But there's so much money in this field, and knowing what people to reach out to. Like, for example, you may not know, like when you first start as a videographer, like you may think you can work directly with a lot of these big companies, but that's not how it works. You know, these companies that have marketing agencies that they work with, and those marketing agencies are the ones that will hire the crew to get it done. So the same way that I might hire an editor to outsource some work for my business, the marketing agency is outsourcing work to me to fulfill their business needs to the big companies. And that's typically how it works, like 99% of the time. And that's where the real money is at as well. And that's where you'll see, you know, a mom and pop shop, again, to go back, not to disrespect anybody, nothing like that, but like most people that have a smaller business or that are just trying to maintain or whatever the case is, they're not going to want to spend, you know, a lot of money for a production, because it costs a lot of money. Like there's some, like the lighting guy, not even a cinematographer, it's called a grip or a gaffer. Like even a low day rate might be like $700 a day for that one crew member. And you're talking about, like, on big productions, crews of like 20 to, it could be as big as, like, well, let's just say 20 people, for example. And the prices go way higher than that. And that's per day. And it takes a long time to film these little 30-second commercials, and it's longer than you think. You know, it's a lot of setups. But that's where the real big money is at, is the going after the companies that have a budget for it. And it's also different when people are spending their own money versus when people are spending the company's money. You know, people are spending their own money, it affects them. Rightfully so, they should be more conservative. But if it's a company with a marketing budget every month, you can spend it down to zero. That's what you're supposed to do with it. But that's definitely a difference when you have to know what clients to go after. And that's, like, I think, like, after a year, I'm starting to finally, like, open that door and myself working with marketing agencies and stuff like that.
Dang, so not only is it that business aspect and the video aspect, you also got to think of that financial aspect, that long term, like who's the right person to go to, who would be your biggest catch, metaphorically speaking.
For sure, yeah.
Speaking about all this education and knowing what to do, since we talked, obviously, you mentioned you went to film school. Would you recommend the same? Would you recommend the same thing for other individuals, for them to go to school, or would you say get the experience? How would you talk to someone that wants to go in your field?
I would say it depends where you live, and also too, when I went to film school, in 2014, so there wasn't as many like master courses and stuff like that online. But even with those master courses online, you still need to get on-set experience. That's the only, I think that's you can't escape it. So if you, that's why I said it depends where you live. If you live in LA and you could pay, $700 or $1,500 for like a really good master course, I would say do that, and then just reach out to people on Instagram and ask to work for free and get on as much sets as possible. Because the main benefit of film school is your network, the people that you meet there, and also to getting your hands on the equipment that you wouldn't be able to afford otherwise. Like we were shooting on red cameras. We had all the lights possible. We had like sets we could build, sets we could design. There's no way I would have gotten that experience at that, such an early learning stage without school. So for me, it worked out, but it was a different time, and I'm also coming from a different place. So I would say it just depends on that. If you could get the experience, you could get the knowledge online, so that's covered. But if you can get the experience, then just go get the experience, because it's better. You're not going to be in debt that way, and you'll learn. But it just depends. I would say I'm not against it. But yeah, there's definitely ways around it.
Definitely. That's interesting that you mentioned it at school, especially a lot of schools, like they provide you these resources that obviously they cost a good chunk of money. And if you're going over there to get that experience, you're to use the product. And then you mentioned a big thing, networking. Networking is everything nowadays. What is your goal with your career, or what do you see yourself being successful in your videography?
For me, being successful is, with videography per se, is working with big companies, getting like long-term contracts, having the financial freedom to be able to, build a crew, pay them well, and not have to do videography. I'm not being in a place where I have to do it to make money. I want to be able to make money from it, invest in other things, and just do it because it's what I love to do. So once I get to that point, that's where I said it will be a successful point. It's not necessarily, like a specific dollar amount. It's a range, but when it comes to videography itself, and then I also have goals as a filmmaker still. Like I want to make, series. I want to do all that type of stuff. I want to make films. I still have that dream alive. So that's when I think I would really start to take that full time. Is when I could reach that place in my, videography business where I can make money, invest my money into other things, and I'm not dependent on it for my source of income.
Yeah, so it sounds, of course, you have a lot of projects you want to do, but ultimately it sounds like once you're in that financial independence, you don't have to worry about money. That's where you feel like you'll be successful?
Yeah, when it comes to videography, I have other dreams and goals, but like videography, it's not I genuinely love to do it, working on commercials and stuff like that. All of that. About it, when I think about it, I just think about having that financial freedom, being able to help the people around me that need help, and not being dependent on a client to need my services. So, and my route is filmmaking. That's what I got a degree in. That's all I've known since I was like 17 or whatever the case is. I don't have a degree in accounting. I don't have, all these other things. So like, that's my pathway to get to that place, and be able to, eventually, have a family and be able to be there as much as I choose to be there. So that's like the real win for me.
Definitely. There's a lot of things that we're unsure about, and I'm pretty sure you're not too sure about it, though. There's many opportunities, and obviously, as followers of Christ, our final question would be, how has God guided you throughout this journey, and how do you feel He's gonna help you out in the future?
Yeah, man, honestly, God keeps me just from being hopeless in this whole thing. Like I said, it could be really hard. Like some months could be good and really good, and some can be terrible. But I just, I always receive. I was feeling this way last year, and when I went to Atlanta for a little bit. In Proverbs, I think it talks about like the righteous don't have to fear sudden destruction. I don't have to like that. And that's kind of how it feels like when you're freelance, because like things can be so good. You're like, I don't have nothing lined up for the next month, or I only have like 1 or 2 projects lined up in the next 2 months. It's like I was feeling very like anxious. I was feeling very doubtful because it felt like at any moment the floor could get pulled out from under me, because I have bills to pay, I have a car to pay, I have my rent to pay, and it's stressful. And then God just reminds me, like, God is my provider. God is the one that I received a word even when I first invested into my first camera. It was because of a word I got from God. And so God is really the only reason why I have quit. It's the only reason why I even continue to have hope. And I'm just trusting him. Literally every month I'm trusting him, and he's coming through. I cannot say that. And I can tell you now, I left it prematurely, I feel, but God has still had my back. I went through rough times. I went through times of scarcity, times of like when I had no money, and then God would bring clients, and I would get the work done, and and God would provide. So I couldn't think. I'm not even joking, Mark. I could not thank God enough, because I would be so lost without it. I would be literally like, I'll probably move back to North Carolina type stuff, because it has been hard. But I can say now, thankfully, things are going in the right direction. It's just and it's still scary. Like the last couple months have been really good, and the next few months, like it's like really like cool opportunities I have coming up, and I'm still scared. I don't feel that security or that comfort just yet when it comes to that stuff. But that's why I trust in God, and that's when the trust in God comes through. Because I'm still scared, but I just remind myself God won't let me down, and just keeping my faith and my hope alive. Did the audio cut out or what?
Just a tad bit. It's halfway through, but pretty much, yeah, it's my understanding, God is the provider. He is your foundation. If he doesn't want it to happen, if he won't allow it to happen, and the fact that you're still over here, you mentioned like you were originally from North Carolina, and you're still here, even when LA is like super expensive, and you're making it every month. It's awesome. What else can God do, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. There's no limit to it.
Definitely. Well, as always, follow God. Well, that's for another topic. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, let us know. You guys know the drill. That's the voice crack. Thank you guys for watching. Drop a like, pass a smile, stay safe, and see you guys next time.
Later.